This seems either unpleasant or pleasant, depending on your disposition. Good morning, afternoon, or indeterminate time of day to you, my friends on the internet. Brian here, and today I want to give you my impressions of the Titans Return Blurr figure that comes with the Headmaster Hyperfire. So this is the newest line of Transformers that is going to be invading our shelves for the next year. All about Headmasters, but in the box he comes with a cool piece of artwork, which is what they use on the box. I like the cut corners. I like it when they cut corners. On the back you can see tech specs and the name of the Headmaster. But hey, it's a card, so yay. On the figure itself, he does have a blaster which you can pull out, and kind of a cool blaster actually. I dig it. And hey, inside you can see a little a guy piloting Blurr. You can open up his cockpit, flip the seat back a little bit, and get him out. And this is Hyperfire. Give you a close-up of his head sculpt. Yeah, that's actually kind of a cool little robot dude there. I like the paint on the face. I like the painted arms. That actually does help, and he's got painted legs. So compared to some of the other Headmasters that are in this wave, he's got a lot of paint on his robot mode, and I like that. That's nice. It makes him actually look like a robot. On his back, he has a head with a little dongle that can come up and down. This seems either unpleasant or pleasant, depending on your disposition. But he is a tiny little Headmaster. I've got a few other tiny little Headmasters, so let's pull some other guys in and let you see how these guys all compare with each other and some other tiny guys I've got. I'm going to keep continuing this sentence until I get all 6 of these guys together and standing, but some of them don't want to stand, and so I'm just going to modify the stance right there with my breath, and I'm running out of breath, and I took a breath. Okay. Alright, so we've got Hyperfire from Blurr. We've got Furos from Hardhead. We've got Grax from Skull Smasher, and we've got Fraxus from Scourge. Where is Francis? Right there. He's right there. We've also got Minimus Ambus from Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus, and we've got Nightstick. Yeah, Nightstick from Cyclonus, the Battle in Space Cyclonus specifically. That's the only Target Master I have, so that's how big he is compared to, I think, actually, the original Target Masters were this big too, so that's basically how big these guys are. But all of these figures have the cool integration that you can take these Headmasters, put them into various poses that are dictated based on the alt mode. For Blurr here, it's a actual sitting position. Plop him in, put the back seat like that, or the back of the seat like that, and there you go. You have Blurr being piloted by a little dude. And another cool thing I do like about these this Combiner Wars line is that they actually are integrating other Headmasters into the Deluxes. So you can have them interact in nice ways that don't want to play well with me right now. So I'm just going to probably cut and go straight to when I have this free, but keep making noises if I'm struggling for some reason. Alright, so you can take Blurr's nose cone off, flip it upside down, and apparently flip this little thingy out, and plug this in here. And then you grab a handy-dandy Headmaster like Furos here, and let's see, I think that's going to be a position there where you just put his arms up, and his legs up, and plop him down. Oh, actually, you could put the gun back, because it's got a port right here, and there's a post right there, so you can put the gun back and have another little Headmaster piloting Blurr's gun for some reason. As far as integration with other Headmasters go, Blurr is kind of on the downside, unfortunately. But, hey, there's at least something. So if you want to ignore the Headmaster gimmick on Blurr, it's so close to being possible because you could have just... this is where his head would be, obviously, because that's where his head is plugged in. But you then have to rotate this panel up, and as you can see, the neck port is, like, almost visible, so if you were to plug it... Ah! Head's going flying! You could almost get it to close with the head in there, if you do the Headmaster thing. And then the head can... So it's almost so close that you could be able to do it. If you could chop a chunk out of this, and chop a chunk out of this, and then just replace his head with a little bit of a thinner one that doesn't have the legs, you could totally have Blurr here not be a Headmaster, which is what I want, because I love this design for Blurr. I just hate the Headmaster gimmick. So, if a third-party company were to put out a new set that had you pop this pin out And I think you would just... I want to double check the thread in TFW, but you would push the pin either from this direction or... Oop, I kick you guys, I'm sorry. Or this direction. I think it's from this direction because I think this side... No, you push it from this side because I'm pretty sure this side of the pin has the ridges on it. So you just grab a tiny little nail and a hammer and put the nail on that pin and just hammer it away. And it would eventually push out of this side where you take a needle nose pliers or pliers of some sort and just pull it out. Well, that's what I would do. And so if a third-party company were to put out a new version of basically this assembly, the swivel with the nose cone, and you could include a head that just plugs in there, you don't even need to do anything, just include a head that plugs in there. And you could totally just ignore the headmaster gimmick. It's so close to being possible that I might very well just take a bandsaw, or no, a Dremel. Take a Dremel, that's the word I was looking for, and try hacking away at some of this stuff to see if I can get it to work. It's so close to letting me ignore it. Scourge doesn't let me ignore it because it's right there. It's right there. The head would be completely visible and just chilling out, and no matter what you do, you've got a head just sitting there on a body on a flying bar of soap. But Blurr is so close. I really hope Rodimus is going to be like something this close and simple to be able to do. I'm so hopeful that that's going to be the case. But let's talk about the vehicle mode of Blurr himself. All fancified and really nice looking. I love this alt mode. This is really cool to me. There's not really too much robot visible blatantly. I mean, you can see his fists and you can see like his chest, but you know that's his cockpit. And you can see his arms, but you know it's robot kibble that's actually vehicle kibble. Yes, you can see his toes, and I'll get to his feet. I'll get to his feet later, but yes, you can see his feet too. You got wheels here and here and here on his kneecaps. Well, no, that's not his kneecaps. That's his feet. So he does roll. That's nice. And he rolls really fast. He rolls really fast. Rolls really fast. I like this alt mode a lot. It looks good. I like this Blurr figure. But to compare him with some other figures, I don't have Chromie at the moment, but I do have Prid RC, which is the same mold. So that's how he looks like next to my yardstick figure, essentially. Another headmaster, even though Blurr wasn't a headmaster of the originals. Here's Nightbeat, who is the Generations Bumblebee mold repainted. For a Combiner Wars figure, I'm going to grab Hound, who is the Swindle/Rook remold. And all the Combiner Wars figures were about the same size, so that's how big he looks next to them. And let's show off some 86 movie cast, shall we? So there is Generations Voyager Springer. I've got Mastermind Creations Azalea, which is my RC. And I've also got I've got Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus. And wow, these guys look good together. I like the way these guys look. This is good. This hits me right in the 86 movie's always been my favorite Transformers movie, and like one of my favorite Transformers pieces of fiction. So seeing these guys makes me happy. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the Generations Blurr, but I do have the Drift that it was a repaint of. I really actually do regret that I never picked up that Blurr, which is why I picked this guy up. He was the big one that was tempting me the most, because I didn't have the other version, and I like this alt mode really well for Blurr. So there's how big they would be next to each other if this were blue and Blurr and not Drift and white. So, yeah. But now let's compare him with his wave mates, starting with Scourge. So there's some more movie guys for you. If we're going to do movie, let's go ahead and throw in the Battle in Space Cyclonus with the Hurricane add-on kit to turn them into IDW Cyclonus. Granted, in alt mode that doesn't really do much, so there's that. But hey, let's continue on with the wave mates. Skull Cruncher Smasher. Skull Smasher. Why do I keep calling him Skull Cruncher? He's big, so I'm going to put him in the back here. And we've got Hardhead. Yeah, Hardhead. So these guys actually look all about the same size and look kind of like a coherent wave, with the exception of Skull Smasher, who is a big crocodile alligator thing. Kind of doesn't fit necessarily the motif of these guys, but the rest of these guys look really good together. I wouldn't really have too much of an issue putting all these guys on a shelf because I know histories about them. They're all headmasters, so I know that. Well, actually, they're not. These two aren't headmasters. Anyway, I'm getting aside of myself. So I think that is basically all there is to say. As far as I can tell, you're supposed to have this gap here between the cockpit and the screen. As far as I can tell, like maybe you're supposed to put the chair back like that, but I don't think so, because then I don't know. If I'm doing things wrong, let me know down in the comment, because I don't know. That's how I do it, and put the headmaster in there. It makes it feel like a solid chunk of cockpit to me. So that's why I do that. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Not certain. Anyway, that is basically all there is to say about his vehicle mode. What do you say we get him into robot mode and talk about him there, shall we? Let's zoom! Because he's fast. He has to go away real fast. It's Blurr, fastest Autobot around. You can't catch what you can't see. All the ladies love the speedsters. Although, to be honest, I'm not sure I would actually want either of these RCs to be, hanging on me. They seem kind of like a little disgruntled. Prime RC a little less than that, but, IDW RC kind of scary. And here is Blurr in his robot mode, and that is a nice looking robot mode. And yeah, you totally could have had the head back here. Oh, I wish they had. I wish you weren't a headmaster. But let's discuss his articulation. Starting off with a close-up of the head sculpt. That is a pretty decent head sculpt of Blurr, I will say that. I like the head fin. I like the expression on the face. That's not a bad one. I think his eyes could have been a bit brighter. You can't really see too much of it. Actually, maybe some white eyes would have looked good on him. I kind of like that he's a clear chest, because you totally could like put a matrix in there and have Blurrimus Prime. Opaquemus. Opaque Prime? I don't know, something along those lines. For his articulation, though, his head is on that ball joint that the miniature head, the head itself has. That sentence makes no sense. You make it's hard to talk about your articulation. His head can swivel. It can go around. It can kind of wiggle and waggle. And if you like pull it out, you can kind of, well, I guess pull it out. I guess you can't get a fake head tilt in it. His arm has the ability to go up that high if you use a joint for it. But his shoulders do completely smack into his own head. Can go all the way around. Has a bicep swivel. Has an elbow joint. And has a wrist joint, giving you that much range of motion for his arms. He has a nice waist joint. His legs are on ball joints, allowing you to go forward on good ways, go back basically as far as you want. His legs can go outwards that far. He's got a thigh swivel. He's got a knee joint that gives you over 90 degrees, so that's very nice. His feet are almost non-existent. You just have a little bit of toe, which can waggle. So you can get some decent poses out of him, but he's not the most... For his feet, you do have to kind of be mindful of his feet. But other than that, and his head sucking, because it's a headmaster, it's a very nicely articulated figure. I did forget, though, you can totally pull the shield off these really long posts for some reason. I don't know why they made it that long, but you can totally pull that off and use it as a shield. Haha! And he's got a gun, which you can totally put into his hand. Haha! And have him be all badassery. Yeah. I like this gun. And having this shield, actually, I'm okay with the shield. I don't disapprove of having of Blurr having a shield. Oh, also you can totally plug this into his you could also totally plug this onto his arm, or I've left it there for the transformation, and get like a Megatron cannon pose, like fear me and despair. That hurt my throat. On his back, that's what it would look like without the shield. But let's go ahead and start doing some size comparisons to this lithe athlete, shall we? I've got my standard yardstick of the Prid RC mold in Prid RC this time. So, yeah, he is taller than her. I've got Nightbeat here, who is a headmaster from that era. Taller than the Generations Bumblebee mold. For last year's gimmick of Combiner Wars, there is Hound. So he's a little bit shorter than, or a little bit taller than Hound. The previous version of the character, though, had the drift mold as its base. So that's how it would compare to the drift mold. Just a little bit shorter. Basically the same height, I think. I think, having now had both of these, he has the better robot mode look, at least. That looks more like Blurr to me than that. And I like that head sculpt better than the other one. I like the other one, too. Granted, I don't have it on me, so I don't have it, so I haven't seen it in person. But I did kind of like that other head sculpt, too. But hey, let's pull in some movie cast, shall we? There is Springer. Here is Ultra Magnus, Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus, Voyager Generation Springer, Make Toys, no, Mastermind Creations Azalea, and yeah, it's the only of the movie figures I have on hand, and Ultra Magnus isn't even in frame, so there you go, picked you up like a little baby. Aww. These guys do look good. This is a nice little display here. But let's pull in his wave mates so you can take a look at how these guys all look together. There you go. I think out of all of them, Blurr probably is my favorite. I like that robot mode, and he looks cool. I like the way this looks. But, as I said, the gimmick for the year is Headmasters, so you can pull the head off any of these guys. Let's go with Scourge. And throw all of them on to each other and laugh at the absurdity. If I can get your head in, Blurr. Come on, go in. There you go. There you go. There's Blurr's head on Scourge's body. So that's the gimmick for the year. Yeah. So if you like a different head, go ahead and grab a different head and throw it on a different body. It's your toys. Do what you want with them. On the transformation itself, it's actually a pretty nice transformation. You can totally leave this shield in and just on his back at all times, and I probably will. And I like the way the arms move. It's not a super complex transformation. In fact, the most complex thing is basically that, maybe, for vehicle mode. Okay, that's not true, because the legs are a bit more complex than that. But still, it's not the most complex transformation. It's still a nice transformation. I enjoy it, and both modes look great. I really do like the look of these guys, which makes it so sad that he's a Headmaster to me. Which I guess means I'm going into my final thoughts. I don't like Headmasters. Blurr looked so amazing in both modes that I'm like, I want a reason to own you. So I talked myself into buying him and Scourge mostly, and then just the rest of the wave kind of just fell into my cart. And I don't like Headmasters. I wanted an excuse to try this mold out. I don't really regret owning this mold. I really, really hope somebody puts out a new head for him, at the very least, that isn't a Headmaster, so I can ignore it. And I would love if some third-party company were to produce a new chest piece. Heck, you don't even need to replace the shield. I'm okay with the shield. Just replace this arm. I can't even get the shield off. Actually, no, you'd have to replace the shield because you need to cut chunks of this off. So yeah, replace the shield, replace this bar, and replace the head. And I will buy that third-party kit. Please. I beseech you, third-party companies. Turn Blurr back away from Headmaster. Sorry, Hyperfire, but I do not like you. And this fin does not stay up very well. These guys, Scourge has the same problem. That these fins just fall down all the time and just don't want to stay up. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Headmasters. But I'm curious to know what you guys think about them. How does this figure look to you? How do you guys feel about the Headmaster? How do you feel about Blurr being a Headmaster? Because he definitely wasn't one in the past. Drop a comment down below and let us know. Also, guys, I'm going to take a moment and say thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed to us and continue to spread the word about us. You're the reason our channel keeps growing, and you are the best audience we could ever hope for, so thank you so very much for being wonderful to us. We love you so much. We wouldn't be here without you. I have no idea what pose this is. Until next time, guys, may all your dance parties be rockin'. Or, just get your Dinobots onto the shuttle. Bye!